Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. We've finished page 220. Well, we will have by the end of this episode. Please rate and review on your preferred podcast platform, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts. You know, I would love a review, a 5-star review, and subscribe and share this with the people. And you can send me an email if you want to talk about this in any manner. And then social media, you can follow me at dictionarypod. By the way, the email is dictionarypod@gmail.com. Super clever. All right, the words are, the first one is chromatogram, chromatogram, chromatogram. We're going to have a number of very similar words. Noun from 1922. 1. The pattern formed on an absorbent medium by the layers of components separated by chromatography. Number 2. A time-based graphic record. A time-based graphic record of a chromatographic separation. So words are hard to say. And then the record, an example of this record is concentration of eluted materials. Eluded is not like you've eluded the police. It's E-L-U-T-E-D, eluded. A time-based graphic record as of concentration of eluded materials of a chromatic. Oh man, why did I reread this? I just made it worse. Okay, we're gonna move on to chromatograph. Noun from 1946, an instrument for performing chromatographic separations and producing chromatograms. Did I say that word? I think I said it correctly. Chromatograph is also a verb, and chromatographer, oh boy. Chromatographer is a noun. I swear, you would have as much trouble reading these as I do, maybe more, because the emphasis keeps on changing depending on the word. All right, next we have, oh look, it's another one. Chromatography. Noun from 1936, a process in which a chemical mixture carried by a liquid or gas is separated into components as a result of differential distribution of the solutes as they flow around or over a stationary liquid or solid phase. Chromatographic is an adjective, and chromatographically is an adverb. That is, I think this is actually very fascinating, but I have no idea what I just read. So, if you are a chromatographer, send me an email and tell me what you do. I think that would be interesting. Next is chromatolysis. Chromatolysis, noun from 1901, the dissolution and breaking up of chromophil material, as chromatin, of a cell and especially a nerve cell. And chromatolytic is an adjective. Next we have chromatophore. Chromatophore with a PH at the end. Noun from circa 1859. 1. A pigment-bearing cell, especially one of the cells of an animal integument capable of causing integumentary color changes by expanding or contracting. So would a chameleon have chromatophores? Pigment-bearing cells. Also, octopuses, octopi, and other animals, that's probably what they have. Number 2, the organelle of photosynthesis in photosynthetic bacteria, as of cyanobacteria. And then broadly, the synonyms chromoplast and chloroplast. Yep, moving on to now Chrome. Chrome, the web browser that most people probably use. And if you're still using like Safari or Edge or even what was the one before Edge, Internet Explorer, if you're using those, move on to something new and better. Okay, the first form of Chrome, noun from 1800. 1A, the synonym is chromium. 1B, a chromium pigment. 2. Something plated with an alloy of chromium. Plated, P-L-A-T-E-D. It's like you put something on your plate. When you make food, you are plating your food. But in this case, This is not food. An alloy of chromium is not food. But now I would love to see just a very fancy dinner dish with alloy of chromium plated in a very fancy way. Spending hundreds of dollars for this plate of alloy of chromium. Second form of chrome is a verb from 1876, just transitive. 1. To treat with a compound of chromium, as in dyeing. That's color dyeing, D-Y-E-I-N-G. And then number 2, the synonym is chromize, which, yep, that'll be near the end of this episode. Next is a suffix, chrome. It's the same word, chrome, but this time it's at the end of the word. Noun, no year. Number 1, colored thing. That is the definition, colored thing, as in heliochrome. But what is that thing that is colored? What is a helio? Number 2, coloring matter, as in urochrome. That is spelled U-R-O, chrome. Urochrome. You're a chrome. I'm a chrome. We're all chromes. Okay, next is chrome green. 2 words, noun from circa 1859. Any of various brilliant green pigments containing or consisting of chromium compounds. And maybe they can use that chrome green as paint. And they can call it chroma green because that is the color that is used when you're keying out something. When you're, green screen, it's chroma green. But this is chrome green. Next is chrome yellow. It's another color. 2 words, noun from 1819. A yellow pigment consisting essentially of neutral lead chromate, PbCrO4. Pb, I think, is lead, and Cr would be probably chromium, and then O is oxygen. Next is chromic, adjective from 1800, of relating to or derived from chromium, especially with a valence of 3. That one's got 3 valences. I think I've made that dumb joke before. It's not even a joke. It's just some words. Next is chromic acid. 2 words, noun from 1800. An acid, H2CrO4, analogous to sulfuric acid but known only in solution and especially in the form of its salts. Next is chromanence. Chromanence, noun from 1952. The difference between a color and a chosen reference color of the same luminous intensity in color television. This is from chrome plus luminance. Chromanence. Next is chromite. Chromite, noun from 1799. 1. A black mineral that consists of an oxide of iron and chromium and is the only chromium ore. Number 2, an oxide of divalent chromium. I bet some of you are really, really loving this episode, and some of you are really, really hating this episode. Next is chromium, noun from 1807, a blue-white metallic element found naturally only in combination and used especially in alloys and in electroplating. And then it says to see the element table. Yeah, that is the thing that we've been talking about chromium in some form for the last 2 episodes, so we finally got to the word. Next is chromium picolinate. Picolinate. Yep, that's 2 words. Picolinate is Picolinate. Picolinate. Noun from 1989. A biologically active chromium salt, C18H12Cr N3O6, used as a dietary supplement. It's chromium picolinate, and I think it's interesting that in those in the chemical symbols, there's only 1 chromium atom in there, but it's called chromium picolinate. You'd think that, obviously this is not a scientist speaking, but you'd think that there would be lots and lots of chromium in it. Nope, it's just 1 chromium atom surrounded by a whole bunch of other atoms. Okay, next we have chromize, verb from 1939. It's just transitive. There's just one definition: to treat with chromium in order to form a protective surface alloy. And an example of what you would be treating is metal. Next is chromo, noun from 1868, and we have the synonym chromolithograph. Chromolithograph. Wow, we are going to see the next episode is going to have a whole lot more chrome words. And then our last word is chromocenter, or just chromacenter. CHROMO, and then the word center. It's all one word. Noun from 1926. A densely staining aggregation of heterochromatic regions in the nucleus of some cells. So the words today were chromatogram, chromatograph, chromatography, chromatolysis, chromatophore, chrome green, chrome yellow, chromic acid, chrominance, chromite, chromium picolinate, chromize, chromo, and chromocenter. I don't know, so I think I am just going to pick chromatography as the word of the episode because it's some stuff. Chromatography. I love to do chromatography. All right, let's talk about the holidays. It is June 29th. It's National Camera Day. So use a camera. We all have cameras on ourselves now. It's also St. Peter's. St. Peter's what? I don't know. It's International Day of the Tropics. In Malta, it is the Feast of St. Peter and St. Paul. In India, it is National Statistics Day. It's also St. Peter and St. Paul in Venezuela. Let's check this page. In the Netherlands, it is Veterans Day. In Seychelles, it is Independence Day. That's from the UK in 1976. In Ecuador, it is Engineers Day. And any fun holidays for today? Let's see. It is Hug Holiday. It's not National Hug Day or Go Hug a Person Day. It's just Hug Holiday. So hopefully you can go hug some people. National Camera Day again, and Wimbledon is happening. I think that's a multi-day thing, though. So maybe it starts today. That's it. We finished page 220. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. Please rate and review and do all the other things. Until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the Dictionary Podcast. It's my podcast, and I say all the stuff in this book. That is what this podcast is. I say the words. I say jokes and comments. This is the book viewed through Spencer's eyes and his brain. All right, the first word at the top of page 221 is chromodynamics. Chromodynamics. One word, noun from 1976. There's a burp coming because I just had some water. Should I just make it come, make it happen, or should we wait? Let's keep on reading. The synonym is quantum chromodynamics. We have to wait to find out what chromodynamics are until we get to Q. Q is probably going to be one of the shortest in this whole book. Next is chromogen with a G-E-N at the end, noun from 1858. 1. A precursor of a biochemical pigment. 2. A pigment-producing microorganism. Next is chromogenic, adjective from 1859. 1. Of or relating to a chromogen. 2. Being a process of photographic film development in which silver halides activate precursors of chemical dyes that form the final image while the silver is removed. Also, being a film developed by this process. This, I think, is related to, the old school way of doing photography. You go into a darkroom. This is what they did for decades and decades and decades. You go into a darkroom, you have actual film, you put it on the thing, and you put it in the chemical baths, the various kinds. I never did it, but I think it would have been a really good thing to learn. It's a process, so I think it's chromogenic. That's what that is. Moving on to chromolithograph. noun from 1850. A picture printed in colors from a series of lithographic stones or plates. I don't really understand the process of lithograph. Chromolithograph is also a transitive verb. Chromolithographic is an adjective. Chromolithographer is a noun. And chromolithography is also a noun. That had a bunch of extra versions of it. Next is chromomere. Chromo, M-E-R-E. Noun from 1896. One of these small bead-shaped and heavily staining masses of coiled chromatin that are linearly arranged along the chromosome. Chromomeric is an adjective. We will be getting to chromosome shortly. Next is chromonema. Chromonema. Sounds like your grandma's name. Chromonema, but you just call her Nema. Noun from circa 1925. The coiled, what? I thought I saw parentheses, but I did not. The coiled filamentous core of a chromatid. Chromonematic is an adjective. Let's see. This is from chrome plus the Greek nemat or nema, which means thread. And there's more at the prefix nemat. Next is chromophil, adjective from 1899, staining readily with dyes. You know, all these chroma words, we go back and forth between color and chromium and other things, and it's very hard to keep track of all of them. Next we have chromophobe. What are you, afraid of colors? Adjective from circa 1909, resisting staining with dyes. Well, in a sense, yes, afraid of colors. This fabric is chromophobic. It will not take colors. It resists the staining of dyes. So it's a chromophobe. Maybe there are people who are chromophobic. I don't know. Next is chromophore, noun from 1879, a chemical group that absorbs light at a specific frequency and so imparts color to a molecule. Also, a colored chemical compound. And the example of this chemical group is an azo group or azo group. AZO group. I don't know what that is. Chromophoric is an adjective. Next is chromoplast. Noun from 1885. A colored plastid, usually containing red or yellow pigment. And the example of that pigment is carotene. Is that the pigment in carrots? Carotene. See, now there's the... I don't know. Now, that was not a joke because it's carotene, which only has one R. I actually thought that carotene was in carrots, but now I'm not so sure. Okay, my brain is playing jokes on me. Next is chromaprotein. Chromaprotein, but it's spelled chromoprotein. Noun from 1924. Any of various proteins having a pigment as a prosthetic group. And the example, some examples of these proteins are hemoglobins, carotenoids, and flavoproteins or flavoproteins. Next is chromosome. We all have these chromosomes. Noun from 1889. Any of the rod-shaped or thread-like DNA-containing structures of cellular organisms that are located in the nucleus of eukaryotes are usually ring-shaped in prokaryotes, as bacteria, and contain all or most of the genes of the organism. Also, the genetic material of a virus. Compare to the word chromatin, which we read at the end of 2 episodes ago. From, what day was that? June 28th. Let's see. Chromosomal is an adjective. Chromosomally is an adverb. And these are important things in our bodies. I only know the basics of them. They store all of your genetic stuff. All the stuff that makes up you is in chromosomes, I think. Next, we have chromosome number, noun from 1910. The usually constant number of chromosomes characteristic of a particular kind of animal or plant. So that particular kind of animal, that dog has this many chromosomes. But then that animal, that cat, probably has that kind of that number of chromosomes. What do we have 26? Am I remembering that correctly? I feel like humans have 26 chromosomes. I could be wrong, but I think I might be right. Next we have chromosphere, noun from 1868. I don't know what this is. It could be a sphere of color, a sphere of chromosomes, a sphere of chromium, a sphere of something else. Let's find out. Noun from 1868. I think I said that. The region of the atmosphere of a star, as the sun, between the star's protosphere and its corona. I would not have guessed that. Chromospheric is an adjective. So it's the atmosphere around a star, but why it has the chromo prefix, I'm not sure. Is that where lots of chromium is? Where are the scientists to tell me this stuff? Next is chromis. CHROMOUS. This is the last word to have this prefix. Adjective from 1830 of relating to or derived from chromium, especially with a valence of 2. All right. We've got a couple abbreviations. First one is chron, CHRON. That is abbreviation for 1, chronicle, or 2, chronological or chronology. Those are both number 2. We have chron again. This has a capital C, abbreviation for chronicles, which has a capital C, which I'm guessing might be in the Bible because it's got a capital. What else would have a capital letter there? Chronicles, not sure. We have chron again. It is a prefix, so it's chron or chrono. It just means time. Chron or chrono means time, as in the example chronogram, chronogram, something like that. Chronology, chronological, those are all about time. I like time. And then our last word is chronaxy. Chronaxy? You could spell it CHRONAXIE. I'll say chronaxy. You could also replace the IE with a Y. Noun from 1922, the minimum time required for excitation of a structure by a constant electric current of twice the threshold voltage. The example of this structure is a neuron. This is from French, chronaxie, from chron, plus the Greek axia, which means value, which is from axios, which means worthy, and there's more at the word axiom. All right, we had today chromodynamics, chromogen, chromogenic, chromolithograph, chromomere, chromonema, chromophil, chromophobe, chromophore, chromoplast, chromoprotein, chromosome, chromosome number, chromosphere, chromos, chron, chronaxy. I will pick chromosome as the word of the episode. We all got them. We all love them. We all need them. I guess sometimes people's chromosomes get messed up, and that causes some problems. Chromosome. Don't mess up your chromosomes. All of these songs are the same. Today, June 30th, it's the last day of June. It is International Day of Parliamentarism. It is, let's check this page. In Guatemala, it is Armed Forces Day. Internationally, it is Asteroid Day. So, find some asteroids. In the Central African Republic, it is General Prayer Day. It is Independence Day in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They are independent from Belgium in 1960. In Israel, it is Navy Day. In the Philippines, it is Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day. Yay, the Philippines and the Spanish are friends. In the Sudan, it is Revolution Day. In the Dominican Republic, it is Teachers Day. And then any other fun holidays. asteroid. Let's click on the link for Asteroid Day. What does it say? Founded in 2014. It was founded after the 2014 release of the film 51 Degrees North, which explores what would happen if an asteroid were to strike London. The film's creative team wanted to raise more awareness about the threat of asteroids to Earth and how we can help protect ourselves. So yeah, scientists do say that we could get hit by an asteroid someday and it would wipe us out just like the dinosaurs got wiped out. So this is a very possible threat, and we should just live our days like they could be our last. But they study the skies. They do what they can. The scientists do everything they can to be aware that this is coming. There's lots of sirens going on right now, so maybe it is happening right now. Oh my God, what is going on? They do their best, and then they're working on methods to, if something were to come, can we divert it away? How would we do that? There are possible ways. We will never know. Hopefully we'll never know. And it just won't happen. It's also Social Media Day, so I guess go be on social media because you haven't been already. That is the end of this episode. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. Until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. This is my podcast. I have a podcast. I'm so cool and unique. I got a podcast. All right, the first word is chronic. CHRONIC. Adjective from 1601. 1A. Marked by long duration or frequent reoccurrence. It just says recurrence. And then not acute, as in chronic indigestion. That sounds terrible. Also as in chronic experiments. 1B, suffering from a chronic disease, as in the special needs of chronic patients. It's a thing that won't go away. If you got chronic pain in your neck, it's just there all the time. 2A, always present or encountered, especially constantly vexing, weakening, or troubling. As in chronic petty warfare. That warfare is so petty. 2B, being such habitually. What does that mean? Being such habitually, as in a chronic grumbler. Oh, I'm grumbling all the time. I can't stop the grumbling. And then another synonym, I guess this would be the first synonym for this word. It is the word inveterate. Inveterate. Chronic is a noun. Chronically is an adverb. Chronicity. Chronicity is a noun. You could also say chronicity. This is from the French chronique, from the Greek chronikos, which means of time. Yeah, it's basically a thing that's just there. It's just there in time, all the time. All the time. Next is chronic fatigue syndrome, 3 words, noun from 1947. A disorder of unknown cause that is characterized by persistent, profound fatigue, usually accompanied by other symptoms, as headache and tender lymph nodes, unrelated to any pre-existing medical condition, and it is abbreviated to CFS, all caps. Just constantly fatigued. How do you fix this? What do they do to fix this? I don't know. Glad I don't have this. Next is chronicle, first form, noun from the 14th century. 1. A historical account of events arranged in order of time, usually without analysis or interpretation, as in a chronicle of the Civil War. So this happened, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then this other thing happened. And then number 2, we have the number 1 definition for the word narrative. We can skip the etymology. Second form of chronicle is a verb from the 15th century, just transitive. To present a record of in, or as if in a chronicle. To present a record of in. Why is this so hard to say? To present a record of in, or as if in a chronicle. As in, chronicle Victorian society. Also as in, chronicle the doings of the rich and famous. Oh, we are so fascinated by the rich and famous, we want to chronicle the doings of them. And then chronicler is a noun. Next is chronicle play, 2 words, noun from 1683. A play with a theme from history consisting usually of rather loosely connected episodes chronologically arranged. Next is chronicles with a capital C. I think this was one of the synonyms or something somewhere in the... Oh, yeah, we had the abbreviation chron. It was abbreviated to chronicles with a capital C, so that's what this one is. It's a noun from 1535, either of 2 historical books of canonical Jewish and Christian scripture, called also Paralipomenon or Paralipomenon. And then it says to see the Bible table. It is a table made of Bibles. It's a Bible table. All right, next is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, 4 words, noun from 1967. Pulmonary disease as emphysema or chronic bronchitis that is characterized by chronic, typically irreversible airway obstruction resulting in a slowed rate of exhalation. And this is abbreviated to COPD. I know somebody who sadly passed away from either from this or something related to this. Not a good thing. I don't really know. I think you can get it easier if you're a smoker, so don't smoke. There's probably other things that you can do to help avoid, but sometimes I think this just happens. So do what you can to not get COPD, because it's terrible. Next, we have chronobiology. Chronobiology, noun, or you could also say chronobiology, noun from 1969, the study of biological rhythms. Chronobiologic or chronobiological, those are adjectives, and chronobiologist is a noun. So yeah, our body is made up of all different rhythms and cycles of things. The cells live and die, your heart is constantly going, your lungs have a rhythm to them, your brain has rhythms. So there's a lot of biology that is, rhythms and times and things. Rhythms and times and things. Next we have chronogram or chronogram, noun from 1621, an inscription, sentence, or phrase in which certain letters express a date or epoch. It's just words that talk about a date, a chronogram. So like if you write the date on a piece of paper, is that a chronogram? Maybe it's got to be more specific than that. Next is chronograph or chronograph. Chronograph, noun from 1851, an instrument for measuring and recording time intervals. As A, an instrument having a revolving drum on which a stylus makes marks. And then B, the synonym is stopwatch, but also a watch incorporating the functions of a stopwatch. I thought B was the last one. No, we have a C. An instrument watch incorporating, nope, I skipped a line, or I reread a line. An instrument for measuring the time of flight of projectiles. Chronographic is an adjective, and chronography is a noun. Yeah, it's a watch. It's anything that measures time. What do you call them? Sundial. That would be a chronograph. Next we have chronologer. Chronologer, noun from circa 1572. We have the synonym chronologist, which we're going to get to shortly. But first, before that, we have to say the word chronological, or chronological, or just chronologic. Adjective from 1614, of, relating to, or arranged in, or according to the order of time, as in chronological tables of American history. You gotta put them in chronological order, because if you don't, you're going to be terribly confused. But then we have more to the definition, also reckoned in units of time, as in chronological age. What is your chronological age? My chronological age is almost 41, but mentally, I'm much younger than that. But physically, I think I might be a bit older than that. My back is a bit older. Chronologically is an adverb. Chronologist is next. Noun from 1611. An expert in chronology. Oh, hey, look at that. That's our last word. Chronology. chronology. So many O's. chronology. Noun from 1585. 1. The science that deals with measuring time by regular divisions and that assigns to events their proper dates. What an interesting job. 2. A chronological table, list, or account. 3. An arrangement, as of events, in order of occurrence, as in reconstruct the chronology of the trip. Got to go back and look at what we did and make a chronological story, and you will become the chronologist. Yeah. I think those were all the words. I do find that pretty interesting. I don't know, how do people use this in their jobs? What job is there? What do you do? There are so many different ways that this can be used. So our words today were chronic fatigue syndrome, chronicle play, chronicles, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, chronobiology, chronogram, chronograph, chronologer, chronological, chronologist, and chronology. I am going to pick chronological as the word of the episode. And, I think just looking at the word, I'm learning a bit more about it. It's in a logical order. It is things in time in a logical order. What would that order be? The logical order of putting things in chronological order is chronological order. You put the first thing first and the second thing second, and so on. That is very logical. I like things that make sense and are logical in time. This is very similar to, putting your movies or your albums, if you have physical versions of those, in alphabetical order. It's a similar idea, but sometimes people like to sort their movies by chronological order. I think that's an interesting thing to do. I wouldn't do that. Makes no sense to me. If you're going to try and find a movie, you want to look at the alphabet. That's how they're ordered. But if you know your movies so well, you know the years of them so well, you could put them in chronological order and then have fun finding a movie. I bet you people have done that. If you have done that, send me a message. You know how to do that. It's in the show notes, dictionarypod@gmail.com, on the social media, @dictionarypod. Chronological. It's arranged in or according to the order of time. My body is living chronologically. That is good for that. Let's talk about the holidays. Hey, look at that. We made it to July. It's Canada Day. It's Dominion Day in Canada. What does that mean? Is Canada is the world their dominion? In Australia, it is Territory Day. In India, it is National Doctors Day. In Argentina, it is National Architect Day. What else we got? There are a bunch of holidays that today would be the earliest day on which these holidays can fall, so let's read those real quick. In Sweden, it could be Alexanderson Day. In Guyana, Caracom Day. In the Cayman Islands, Constitution Day. In Peru, Dia del Amigo. That would be Day of the Friend. Hello, friend. In the Marshall Islands, Fisherman's Day. In Zambia, Heroes Day. Not in any specific place, International Cooperative Day. International Free Hugs Day. Free hugs for everybody. In the Ukraine, Navy Day. In Netherlands, Navy Days, plural. In Singapore, Youth Day. All right, we got more holidays that are not, they're just on this day. Singapore, Armed Forces Day. There's a bunch. In Pakistan, Children's Day. In China, Communist Party of China Founding Day. In Hungary, Day of Officials and Civil Servants. In the Netherlands Antilles, Emancipation Day. In Bahrain and Mexico, Engineers Day. In China, Hong Kong, specifically Hong Kong Special Administrative Region Establishment Day. In Burundi, Independence Day. Also Independence Day in Rwanda and Somalia. It is International Tartan Day. In Bulgaria, it is July morning. In Suriname, it is Ketikoti, which is also Emancipation Day. In Madeira, Portugal, it is Madeira Day. In Quebec, Canada, it is Moving Day. It is Newfoundland and Labrador Memorial Day. Are those for the dogs? In Ghana, it is Republic Day. In Botswana, it is Sir Seretse Khama Day. In the British Virgin Islands, it is Territory Day. And then it is the first day of Van Mahotsav in India. Oh my God. And I haven't even gotten to the fun holidays. The first day of every month, I think, has way more than everything else. Yeah. Okay, so fun holidays. It is National Ice Cream Month. So you have to have ice cream every day this month. I'm sure some of you would be very thrilled about that. We have a week starting July 1st, Clean Beaches Week. They should just be clean all the time. And then what do we have today? We read those. It's also International Joke Day. So, yeah, hey, make up a joke. Maybe you can do that. That would be cool. All right, we're going to end this there. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information into your brain. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds, word birds, word turds. How you doing? Let's talk about the words. Let's see. We've got almost all these words start with the same prefix. Which will be like the fifth word. The fifth word will be the prefix that will introduce the rest of the words. The first word is chronometer, chronometer, noun from circa 1735. The synonym is timepiece. Anything that keeps track of time is a chronometer, but especially one designed to keep time with great accuracy, because you don't want a chronometer that has bad accuracy. Next we have chronometric, chronometrical, adjective from 1830, of or relating to a chronometer or chronometry, and chronometrically is an adverb. And then here we go with chronometry, noun from 1833. It is the measuring of time. So anything that you are doing that is measuring time, whether it's, I guess, if you're just reading a clock, you are practicing chronometry. What other ways can you be measuring time? So many ways. Okay, next is chronotherapy or chronotherapy, noun from 1973. Before reading the definition, I am just fascinated at what this could be. This is treatment of a sleep disorder, as insomnia, by changing sleeping and waking times in an attempt to reset the patient's biological clock. That's interesting. Also, I mean, everybody's got different biological clocks, so, somebody's biological clock could be set to want to be awake in the middle of the night. It's rare, but it's possible. But they have to go by society, so they have to be awake. So, they probably need one of those night shift jobs, so their biological clock is correct. Okay, those were the rest of the chrono words. Now let's get into the Chris words. Chrys, or you can add an O. This is a prefix, Chriso, and it means, gold or yellow. That is not what I was expecting. Gold or yellow, as in chrysorobin, let's see, chrysorobin. That's going to be a word coming up. But yeah, the prefix Chris or Chryso just means gold or yellow. So the next word is chrysalid, noun from 1777, and the synonym is chrysalis, spelled the same way, just with an S. Chrysalid is also an adjective, but yeah, chrysalis is our next word, noun from 1601. 1A, a pupa of a butterfly, broadly an insect pupa. I want to say the word looks like it's pronounced pupa, but that would have two P's. It's pupa. 1B, the hardened outer protective layer of a pupa. Number 2, a protecting covering, a sheltered state or stage of being or growth, as in, a budding writer could not emerge from his chrysalis too soon. That's a quote from William Dubois. There is a picture of a chrysalis, the first definition, 1A and 1B. You've probably seen these. There's a stick, and then the chrysalis is attached to the stick. It's a branch. I mean, it sort of looks like a caterpillar, but it's got some other things on it. I'll post a picture. If you want to see a picture, just wait until I post a picture, which might be a couple weeks from now. These are amazing. My sister and her niece, my niece, her daughter, they collected some caterpillars, and they fed them, and then the caterpillars did their chrysalis thing. They created this chrysalis around them. It's such a fascinating thing, and I think they have gold and yellow usually, and they're kind of shiny, and inside there's some stuff happening, and then they become a butterfly or a moth. So the etymology says this is Latin from chrysalid or chrysalis, which means gold-colored pupa of butterflies. From the Greek chrysos, which means gold, of Semitic origin, akin to the Hebrew harus. I mean, how that's connected to chrysalis, I'm not sure, but that word does mean gold. So yes, they must have a gold coloring, I guess. Let's find out when I post a picture. Next is chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum. You could put a Z sound in there. This is a noun from 1548. 1. Any of various composite plants, including weeds, ornamentals grown for their brightly colored, often double flower heads, and others important as sources of medicinals and insecticides. 2. A flower head of an ornamental chrysanthemum. What does the etymology say? Plus chris plus anthemum. Anthemum means flower, so they must be gold. It's akin to the Greek word anthos, which means flower. So it's just gold flower. That's what the word means, chrysanthemum. It's not really all that special or fancy. It's just the words for gold and flower. And then the genus name is also chrysanthemum. Next we have chrysarobin. It's just chrysa and then the word robin, but you pronounce it robin. Noun from 1887. A powder derived from the wood of a tropical tree used to treat skin diseases. And this is from Chris plus, how do you say this? Araroba, which is a powder found in the wood of a Brazilian tree. And then the scientific name of that Brazilian tree is Andira araraba, something like that. And then they just made it chrysarobin. So I'm guessing this either the powder or the tree must be gold in some form. Look gold, maybe it's, I don't know. Why else would it have the prefix chrys? Next is chryseis. Capital Chrysyeis, chryseis. Noun from 1567. This seems Greek. A daughter of a priest of Apollo in the Iliad narrative, taken at Troy by Agamemnon, but later restored to her father. This is just a Greek Chryseis. So it's from the Iliad. I don't think I ever read the Iliad. Maybe I will one day. I wonder if they're gold. Is the daughter a daughter of a priest of Apollo? So Apollo has a priest, and the priest has a daughter, has daughters probably, and this is one of the daughters, Chryseis, and maybe she is gold. Next we have chrysoberyl. Beryl is B-E-R-Y-L. Chrysoberyl, noun from 1661. 1 is obsolete. It is a yellowish beryl. 2. A hard, usually yellow or green mineral consisting of beryllium, aluminum oxide, and sometimes used as a gem. This is just chris plus berylos, which means beryl. So yeah, that's the yellow part. That's yellow gold. It's very similar. Next we have chrysolite, noun from the 13th century, and we just have the synonym olivine. I'm just going to say that's how it's pronounced. Olivine. It's like, it must be olive-like, right? Olivine. That's what I'm guessing. The etymology is not helping, but it's probably goldish. Next is chrysamelid, or chrysamelid. chrysomelid. I'm going to say chrysomelid. This is a noun from circa 1904. Any of a large family of small, usually oval and smooth, shining and brightly colored beetles. So these beetles must have some gold on them because they're shiny too. They're shiny and brightly colored. The family name is Chrysomelidae, and the example of this beetle is the Colorado potato beetle. The Colorado potato beetle. Chrysomelid is also an adjective. This is from the Greek chrysomelo. How do you say this word? It doesn't help that it goes over to the second line. Chrysomelolonthe. And that is golden cockchafer. Golden cockchafer. What is a cockchafer? Maybe it's a beetle. No clue about that. Can we have a beetle expert on this, please? Okay, next we have chrysophyte or chrysophyte. I think it's, chrysophyte, because it's spelled Phyte. Noun from 1959. The synonym is just golden brown alga. Golden brown is hyphenated. An alga, there's alga, algae, it's the singular and the plural. This is from chrysos and phyton, which means plant. So it's a gold plant. That's what it's saying. Next we have chrysoprase. Chrysoprase, noun from the 15th century, an apple green chalcedony valued as a gem. So apple green, I don't see no gold in this, but maybe if we post a picture, we'll see some gold. What is the etymology? Alternative, Middle English, chrysopes, from Anglo-French, from Latin, chrysoprasis, from the Greek, chrysopressos, from chris plus prason, which means leek, L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, the leek, akin to the Latin porum, which means leek. So it must mean gold leek, but this is an apple green chalcedony, which is a gem. I'm so confused. Are you confused? I'm confused. All right, let's just do the last word. It is chrysotile, Chrysotile, noun from 1850. A mineral consisting of a fibrous, silky variety of serpentine and constituting a common form and principal source of asbestos. Serpentine, yes, I think I said that word correctly. This is from chrysotil, which is chris plus til, which means fiber. Also from the Greek tillene, which means to pluck. So it's a mineral because of fibrous. Yep, that makes sense. So we had chronometer, chronometric, chronometry, chronotherapy, chrysalid, chrysalis, chrysanthemum, chrysorobin, chryseus, chrysoberyl, chrysolite, chrysomelid, chrysophyte, chrysoprase, and chrysotile. Well, I think I'm just going to pick chrysalis as the word of the episode because within these chrysalises, yes, that would be the plural, chrysalises or chrysalides, chrysalides. That would be the plural, chrysalides or chrysalises. Within these things, something amazing is happening. This creature goes from one solid creature to mostly mush to another solid creature, and it retains itself. It retains its memories. It retains something, and I just think that is so fascinating, and I think I've talked about that before, so I don't need to talk about it anymore, but chrysalis. How do you sing a song about chrysalis? The caterpillar is walking down the street, and the guy who wrote The Hungry Caterpillar, he just died not that long ago. That was a classic book. So, that's what happens. The caterpillar is walking down the street, and it's eating all the food that it can eat. And then it's like, okay, I'm done with eating food. I'm gonna become a flying creature, and I gotta make myself into a chrysalis. That is not a song. That is a bunch of words, sort of said in a funny way. All right, what are the holidays for today? It's Children's Day in Switzerland. It is the anniversary of the wedding of King Albert II and Queen Paola. That is in Belgium. In where else on this webpage? Let's see. In Curacao, it is Flag Day. In Azerbaijan, it is Police Day. In Siena, Italy, it is Palio di Provenzano. And this is the earliest day in which Unity Day can fall in Zambia. And our fun holiday, we just have one, I think. It is World UFO Day. This is interesting because I haven't really been reading the news, but I've been seeing the headlines. There's some talk about UFOs, and in regards to the government possibly knowing things, or the military possibly knowing things. So what's happening? What is going on with the UFOs out there? I don't know. I should probably find out. But anyway, let's see. Why is UFO Day on today? This date represents the anniversary of the famed and all but confirmed 1947 incident in Roswell, New Mexico. Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, I think that stuff is pretty fascinating. Whether or not UFOs, I should say, UFOs, that's a very vague term. That's unidentified flying object. But specifically regarding aliens, whether or not they have visited our planet, I'm not quite so sure. There's obviously some footage that's, hard to describe, hard to understand what exactly is happening. So I'm not so sure if we've been visited, but I mean, if we have, I'd say, hey, cool. But I do believe that there is intelligent life out there in the universe somewhere. I mean, that's almost a fact because it's so big. Anyway, we've talked enough. We're going to end the episode. Thank you very much for listening to me. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. This is my podcast where I read the dictionary and I say some stuff, and sometimes we have guests, and it's just a short, each episode is about a quarter of a page. This one will be a bit shorter than yesterday's, I think, unless I find lots and lots of stuff to say. Who knows? But hey, if you are enjoying this podcast, if you like this, I really, 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 really would like it if you wrote me a review, particularly on Apple Podcasts, because that's the one that controls everything. 5 stars would be great, and say what you think, and I can maybe read it on the podcast. I can read it in an episode. If you want to leave me a voicemail, you can do that. The phone number is in the show notes. Leave me a voicemail, and if it's nice, I'll play it in an episode. And then, of course, you can follow me on social media at dictionarypod, and send me an email if you like, dictionarypod@gmail.com. All right. The first word in this episode is, it's spelled funny, but it's just pronounced thonic, with a TH sound. Thonic. Why is a word that has a TH sound at the beginning? At the beginning of this section in the C's, it is because it is spelled CHTHONIC. Thonic. Also, Thonian. Yeah, Thonian. Adjective from 1882, of or relating to the underworld. Ooh, that's cool. And then the synonym is infernal. The example, chthonic deities. Those would be the gods in the underworld. The etymology, this is from the Greek prefix thon, or thone, which means earth. And there's more at the word humble. Why? It's interesting that the prefix thon isn't in here, but I guess it's not... we don't have any other words that start with the prefix thon other than thonic, so it doesn't get its own thing. All right, moving on to chub, C-H-U-B, noun from the 15th century, one, any of numerous freshwater cirripnid fishes. And the examples are the genera Gila, G-I-L-A, and Nokomis. They're chub fishes. And then number 2, any of several marine or freshwater fishes that are not cirripnids. Now, is it cirripnids? I don't know. Well, I guess at the end of the C's, we'll find out how to say that word. It's spelled C-Y-P-R-I-N-I-D-S. Cirripnids. Yep, moving on to chubbily. This is in here. Chubbily, adverb from 1909, in the manner of one that is chubby. So if you're doing something in a chubby way, you are doing it chubbily. What context would you use this in? I genuinely have no idea. Chubbily? I don't know. Moving on to chubby, adjective from 1722. The synonym is plump, as in a chubby boy. And then chubbiness is a noun. I have a friend in junior high. He said, I'm not chubby, I'm not fat, I am pleasantly plump, which I loved. I've just thought about that for decades. Pleasantly plump. I just love that. And this says it's just from the word chub, but the word chub is about fish. So are these fish chubby? Are they chubby, and that's where we get this word from? That seems odd. I don't know. Otherwise, I have no concept of where this word comes from. Moving on to the word chuck, chuck. There are 5 forms. First form, verb from the 14th century. The synonym is cluck, like cluck, cluck. A chicken goes cluck, and I guess they say chuck. Or some people used to think that they said chuck. Second form of chuck, noun from 1595. It is used as an endearment. What, you call somebody a chuck? I don't know. It says it's perhaps from the word chuck, which means chicken. I want to know an example of how this is used as an endearment. Is it a term of endearment? Third form of chuck, verb from the 15th century. Is it? Yeah, it's just transitive. Number 1, the synonyms are pat and tap. Yep, they just spelled it backwards. Pat and tap. Those words mean almost the same thing, but they are literally spelled backwards from each other. Number 2A, the synonyms are toss and throw. 2B, synonym is discard, as in chucked his old shirt. Also as in chucked it out with the trash. I started to chuck some old shirts, older, I was like, I don't need to wear this shirt. It's all ragged. It's old. I don't need to wear it. I don't really care about it. But then I was like, well, I don't really want to get rid of shirts. I'm sort of sad that I got rid of these old shirts. And maybe someday if I have like an office of some kind, I want to frame these old shirts that I don't want to wear anymore. But, they still have sentimental value for me. I'm very sad of all the shirts that I chucked. Okay, number 2C, synonyms are dismiss and oust. And this is used especially with the word out, as in was chucked out of office. 3, the synonym is give up, as in chucked his job. Just gave up. I think every one of these definitions were synonyms. There was no real definition for this one. 4th form of chuck, noun from 1611. 1, a pat or nudge under the chin. You could also say a tap or nudge under the chin. Is a chuck? Okay. Number 2, an abrupt movement or toss. And then 5, the 5th form of chuck, noun from 1723. 1, a cut of beef that includes most of the neck, the parts about the shoulder blade, and those about the first 3 ribs. And then it says to see the beef illustration, which we did before. Number 2 is chiefly Western. The synonym is just food. So they call food chuck. And then 3, an attachment for holding a workpiece or tool in a machine, as a drill or lathe. Yeah, I think I remember it's the thing, and the thing, it's called a chuck. I don't know where that came from. I think the meat version of this, it's an English dialect word chuck, which means lump. Why? Why is it called lump? Why is it a lump? Okay, next we have chuck hole. One word, it's just chuck hole. Noun from 1836, a hole or rut in a road, and the synonym is pothole. I think most people are familiar with pothole. I feel like this would be a dialect. Wouldn't it be some place in a certain area they call them chuck holes? Why do they call them chuck holes? What's the reason there? If you call potholes chuck holes, please email me and tell me why. I want to know. Leave me a voicemail. Tell me why in your own words. It's a hole or rut in a road. But why is it a chuck hole? Maybe if you hit it, you get chucked out of your car or your wagon. Next is chuckle, verb from circa 1770. I think it is just intransitive. Number 1, to laugh inwardly or quietly. I am just chuckling to myself. Ha 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 ha. 2, to make a continuous, gentle sound resembling suppressed mirth, as in the clear, bright water chuckled over gravel. The clear, bright water chuckled over gravel. That is a quote from B.A. Williams. Chuckle is a noun. Chucklesome is an adjective. And chucklingly is an adverb. Yep, that is good for that. Next is chucklehead. Noun from 1748. The synonym is blockhead. And chuckle-headed is an adjective. Chucklehead. This is from chuckle, which means lumpish. Lumpish? We just read chuckle. I didn't see lumpish in there. Next is chuck wagon, 2 words, noun from 1887. 1, a wagon carrying supplies and provisions for cooking, as on a ranch. And number 2, it's usually chuck wagon, 1 word instead of 2 words. This is, here we go. An informal buffet is a chuck wagon, and this is often used attributively, as in a chuck wagon dinner. That, by the way, is chiefly in the west of the U.S. And obviously that is from the chuck, which means food. So it's a wagon that has food, and you eat the food. And I haven't eaten anything today, so I need to go eat some food. I'm going to eat some chuck. But it's not going to be the meat chuck. It's going to be different chuck. Okay, next is chuckwalla. Chuckwalla, 1 word. Walla is W-A-L-L-A. Or it could be chuckawalla. Noun from 1893. A large herbivorous lizard of the iguana family of desert regions of the southwestern U.S. The scientific name is Sauromalus obesus or obesus. We're going to have to post a picture of the chuckawalla. This is from American Spanish chacahuala, spelled C-H-A-C-A-H-U-A-L-A. It's just almost all A's and H's and C's. Almost. That is from the Cahuila word, Chaxwal, or Coxwal, C-A-X-W-A-L. By the way, Cahuila is a Uto-Aztecan language of southeast California. Bet you didn't know that, because I didn't. So yeah, this is an interesting etymology there. Things and places that we didn't know about. Next word is Chuck Will's widow. Chuck Will's widow. 3 words with hyphens. Will's is W-I-L-L''S. Chuck Will's widow. Noun from 1791. It's just a nightjar of the southeastern U.S. A nightjar, I feel like this must be a plant. What, a nightjar? Why are there plants called nightjars? The scientific name is Capromulgus carolinensis, and it does not explain where the name comes from. So if you know, please tell me. Let's find out. Let's learn. And then our last word is the first form of chuff, C-H-U-F-F, noun from the 15th century. The synonyms are boor, B-O-O-R, and churl, C-H-U-R-L, which we must be getting to soon. So the words today were thonic, chub, chubbly, chubby, chuck, chuckhole, chuckle, chucklehead, chuckwagon, chuckawalla, Chuck Will's widow, and chuff. I liked a lot of these. Thonic, I love the spelling. Also, just the underworld and the infernal is cool. Chuckle is good because I like a good chuckle. Well, I think I'm going to pick chuckle as the word of the episode because I do like to laugh. I like to laugh more than a chuckle, but a chuckle is good. Anything that makes you chuckle is good, I guess. But also, thonic, that's a good word. Chuckle, 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 chuckle. I'm gonna chuckle because I said something funny. I say something funny and it makes me chuckle. All right, the words, no, the holidays. It's International Day of Cooperatives. I'm just going to assume that means we are all going to be cooperative today. In India, it is St. Thomas Day. In Belarus, it is Independence Day of the Republic of Belarus. Let's check this page. What have you got for me? It is Emancipation Day in the United States Virgin Islands. It is Independence Day in Belarus. We said that. It is the start of the dog days, according to the Old Farmer's Almanac, but not according to established meaning in most European cultures. Not sure what that is. Maybe it's the dog days of summer. Myanmar has Women's Day. And then what are some fun holidays for July 3rd? International Plastic Bag Free Day. So does that mean that plastic bags are free, or does that mean that you need to be free of plastic bags? We try and use reusable bags as much as possible, and I hope you do the same. It is National Compliment Your Mirror Day. Hey, mirror, you're looking real good today. Well, yeah. It is National Fried Clam Day, and it is National Stay Out of the Sun Day. If you are not going to stay out of the sun, make sure you put on lots of sunscreen if you're in the northern hemisphere. And then if you're in the southern hemisphere, you can listen to me say that 6 months from now. Mirror. Wow. Mirror, you are so shiny and nice, and you've got a real great-looking person inside of you. You're wonderful, Mirror. All right, I think we're going to end it there. Thank you very much for listening. We have finished page 221. This has been Spencer dispensing information. A good day to you. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this podcast. It is called The Dictionary. I hope you knew what you're getting into. Let's do it. Let's see. I'll just say right off the bat, today is July 4th. Here in the States where I am, it is Independence Day. As I said a couple of weeks ago, which was Juneteenth. That really is kind of more Independence Day because, in 1776, not everybody was free. I guess even today, in 2021, we can probably argue that not everybody is free. But at least on June 19th, whatever, it was almost 100 years after the technical official Independence Day, more people were free. So that was good. This day plus Juneteenth, they go hand in hand. There's obviously a lot of problems with this day. I think a lot of people are not so happy about it. But, also, hey, America's free. That's good. Also, this podcast is played all over the world. Everybody gets to hear it. So I don't want to be all U.S.-centric. And so, y'all got your own Independence Days, hopefully, that you can celebrate. Also, I just learned that in the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas, there are 7 doors to other holidays, and one of them is Independence Day. And the picture on the door and the tree is it's a firecracker, It's got little explosion pictures on it, and it's got a little thing that sticks out the top. I gotta say, I'm not so thrilled. I do not agree with having the U.S. Independence Day as one of the holidays. I had actually thought that it was a dreidel the first time I saw it because it's just a short little overhead shot. It kind of looked like a dreidel to me. That made more sense. That seems a little bit more cultural for Hanukkah, but I don't know. Anyway, I just had to give my opinion because that's what I do. This is the platform. I get to say my opinion and you get to listen to it. All right, let's just talk about the words. The first word is the second form of chuff, C-H-U-F-F. It is a verb from 1914, just intransitive, to produce noisy exhaust or exhalations. Also, proceed or operate with chuffs, as in the chuffing and snorting of switch engines. That's a quote from Paul Gallico. How do you say his last word? I don't know. I'll just say Gallico. Third form of chuff, noun from 1915, the sound of noisy exhaust or exhalations. Next is chuffed, with an ed, adjective from 1957. It is British, and it means quite pleased. Oh, I am quite pleased by this definition. I am chuffed. It has chuffed me. And then the synonym is delighted. And then the etymology says it is English dialect chuff, which means pleased, and also means, puffed with fat. Puffed with fat. What does that mean? What? Please, explain this to me. What does puffed with fat mean? Is that a food thing? Is that a literally, I am puffed with fat? I am chuffed. All right, that part of the etymology did not chuff me. Next word is chug. First form, noun from 1866, a dull explosive sound made by or as if by a laboring engine. Interesting that chug and chuff both have to do with engines. Second form of chug is an intransitive verb from 1848, to move or go with or as if with chugs, as in a locomotive chugging along. Chugga, 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 chugga. Also as in wearily chug through the routine. Oh yeah, we're chugging along. I'm just doing the things. We're chugging. That's it. And then chugger is a noun. Third form of chug is a transitive verb from 1958, and the synonym is chug-a-lug. C-H-U-G-A-L-U-G. Chug-a-lug. Which is our next word. It's a verb from circa 1936, starting with transitive. Now, it's interesting. Well, yeah, whatever. This is transitive, to drink a container of, without pause. And the example of the thing that you are drinking is a beer, because that's usually what people are chugging. Why? Why? You can chug water. It's fine. You should drink more water, probably. And then for that one, we also have the synonym, which is the number one definition for the word guzzle. And then the intransitive definition says to drink a container, as of beer, without pause. It literally is the same. The only difference is, well, I'm not even going to describe that. But yeah, it's the same definition. Intransitive and transitive have the same definition. How is that possible? I'm waiting for the answer. That's chug-a-lug. Next word is chucker or chakar. It is spelled C-H-U-K-A-R. I'll say chakar. That seems more appropriate. Noun from 1814, a grayish-brown Eurasian partridge introduced as a game bird in arid mountainous regions of the western U.S., called also chakar partridge. The scientific name is Alectoris chakar, and this is from Hindi and Urdu. The Hindi word is spelled C-A-K-O-R, and the Urdu word is spelled C-H-A-K-O-R. Chakar. It's a bird. A partridge in a pear tree. And a chakar in a pear tree. It doesn't quite work that way. Next is the word chukchi. Chukchi, capital C-H-U-K-C-H-I, Chukchi, noun from 1780. 1. A member of a Siberian people inhabiting the Chukchi Peninsula. And number 2, the language of the Chukchi people. This is Russian, Chukcha, which is probably ultimately from Chukchi. Oh, it's the Chukchi word, which is spelled here C-A-V-C-E-V, but there's some italics. That's very strange. Chav. I don't know how to say that word. So it's the Chukchi word comes from the Chukchi word, which is probably Chukchi? I don't know, but it means reindeer breeder. So this is a group of people in Siberia that's north. These are probably native, indigenous people, I would think. They bred reindeers, and they're on a peninsula, And yeah, it's the Chukchi people with the Chukchi language. Next is chukka, 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 noun from 1948, a usually ankle-high leather boot with 2 or 3 pairs of eyelets or a buckle and strap. They are chukkas. Chukka is alternative of chucker from a similar polo player's boot. So polo players wear these chukkas. Next is chucker. So I think this is going to be the same or similar. It is a noun from 1898, a playing period of a polo game. So the playing period is a chucker, and I guess according to the etymology for chukka, it's also the boot, which is also called chukka. So the boots, oh man, this is confusing. Let's see, the etymology for chucker, it is from Hindi and Urdu. Hindi is Cakkar, Urdu is Chakkar. That means circular course. Also from Sanskrit, I guess you would probably pronounce it chakra, Chakra, which means wheel or circle. Now, was that related to the chakra word that we had before? I feel like I want to go back and look. CHA, let's find the CHAs. We're getting closer. CHA, what is it? CHAK? Oh, I went too far. CHAK, where's the K? CHAK, here we go, chakra. Yes, it is from the Sanskrit word without the H, and it means wheel. So the chakra, the chucker in polo, the playing period of a polo game is related to the chakras. Yeah. All right, interesting. Also, boots. Next is chum. First form, noun from 1684. It is a close friend. The synonym is pal. Chumship is a noun. I don't think anybody's ever used that word before, but if you've got a friend, you've got a chum, you can say, we have a chumship. And that sounds weird. This is perhaps by shortening and alternating or an alternative of chamber fellow, which means roommate. So roommate is chamber fellow, and that became chum somehow. Second form of chum is an intransitive verb from 1730, one, to room together. You are chumming, you are roommates. To be a close friend. To be, to show affable friendliness. Third form of chum, noun from 1857, animal or vegetable matter. Thrown overboard to attract fish. Animal or vegetable matter thrown overboard to attract fish. And the example of this animal or vegetable matter is chopped fish or corn. They chop up the fish to bait the sharks, and that is what they do. They chum it. But they don't know, the origin of this one is unknown. They don't know where this word came from. So if anybody has any idea or any funny thoughts on where this word came from, I'd love to know. Fourth form of chum, verb from 1857. It is, first is transitive, to attract with chum. Yep. And then intransitive, to throw chum overboard to attract fish. And then the fifth form of chum is a noun from 1902. This synonym is chum salmon. That is also going to be our last word in this episode, but this is from a Chinook jargon word. I guess you would pronounce it chum. It means spotted or striped. It is from the Lower Chinook word, which is probably pronounced the same, possibly spelled different. I can't even describe what I'm reading here, but it means variegated. So variegated, spotted, striped. This chum salmon must be. Oh well, that's probably where the chumming of the fish came from. Maybe they used these chum salmon and they just said we're chumming it. We're putting the chum in there. I don't know. That's just my guess. Moving on to, I think it's chumash. Or is it chumash? I think it's chumash. Capital CHUMASH, noun from 1891. 1. A member of an American Indian people of southwestern California. 2. The family of languages spoken by the Chumash people. I'm just going to say it's Chumash, but I don't know. This is from Tcumac, Tcu-Mac. That is the name in a coastal Chumash language for the inhabitants of Santa Rosa Island. Yep, that's where it comes from. Next is chummy, adjective from 1884. Quite friendly. That is the definition. If you are chummy, you are quite friendly. Chummily is an adverb, and chumminess is a noun. Next is chump, with a P, noun from 1876. The synonyms are fool and dupe. You're such a chump. This is perhaps a blend of, wow, chunk and lump. Chunk and lump. That seems like a stretch to me. I don't know. I'd love to talk with the person back in 1876 to figure out what was the thought process behind this one. Next is chump change. 2 words, noun from 1967. A relatively small or insignificant amount of money. And then the last word in this episode is chum salmon. 2 words from 1907. Oh, it is a noun. I don't know why I didn't say that. It is a salmon of the northern Pacific called also chum. See, there it is, just chum. And then the scientific name is Oncorhynchus kita. Oncorhynchus kita. So the words today were chuff, chuffed, chug, chug-a-lug, chakar, chukchi, chucka, chucker, chum, chumash, chummy, chump, chump change, and chum salmon. I gotta look through these a little bit to see which one that I think is the word of the episode. Well, maybe I will pick chucker as the word of the episode, Chukker, because I thought the etymology of that was really interesting. Also, how it's both the playing period of the polo game, but also it's kind of the boot that they wear in polo. I thought that was interesting, and it's related to chakras because it's a wheel. I've never watched a polo game. Do they go around in a circle, in a wheel? I don't think they do. I think it's just like hockey, but on horses. I don't know what the wheel thing is. Anyway, I know I have to sing a song about chuckers. I'm gonna put on my chuckers, and I'm gonna go around in a circle, and that's it. All right. So Canada is celebrating U.S. Independence Day. Are you guys doing that? Why are you celebrating our Independence Day? In Latvia, it is Day of Glivocide against the Jews. Is that? I think that's a spelling error. I think that's the word genocide. Day of genocide against the Jews. Against the Jews? Wait a minute. What is? I don't know. There's no link to click on. I'm not sure about that one. In Norway, it is Queen Sonia's birthday. In Venezuela, it is National Architect Day. What about this page? What else is going on? In the Philippines, it's Republic Day. In Rwanda, it is Liberation Day. It's also Liberation Day in the Northern Mariana Islands. It is the first evening of Dree Festival, which is of the Apatani people in Arunachal Pradesh, India. That is celebrated until July 7th. And any other fun holidays. It is the first day of NAIDOC Week, NAIDOC. That is National Aboriginal and Islander Day Observance Committee. July 4th week kicks off the 7 days of festivities that celebrate the culture of the native people of Australia. Ooh, that's good. Let's do that. I would rather go celebrate that for a week than listen to some fireworks that scare the animals. Cool. All right. And then, yeah, obviously it's Independence Day here in America, so you can go do that. But yeah, be careful. This day, the most like dogs and animals, the pets, they get scared of the fireworks, and so they escape. They run away because they're so scared. So if you have an animal, if you have a pet, keep it safe. Don't let it escape. Tomorrow the shelters are going to be filled with escaped animals, and that's no good. We got to give them a home, because they're not going to probably do so well out on their own in the wild. Most of them won't. Yeah, try to keep your dogs and pets and your turtles and kitties and bunnies. Keep them safe and happy. All right. We're going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. And now I kind of also like the phrase word turds. I don't know, just because it's funny. Why not? Let's just laugh. Should we sing a little song? It's the dictionary. It's the dictionary. If you want to write me a little jingle, 5 or 10 seconds, you can email that to me at dictionarypod@gmail.com. The first word in this episode is chunk, C-H-U-N-K, first form, noun from 1691. 1. A short, thick piece or lump. What is an example of this lump? As of wood or coal. It's a chunk. Number 2. A large, noteworthy quantity or part, as in, bet a sizable chunk of money on the race. 3. A strong, thick-set horse, usually smaller than a draft horse. Oh, that horse is such a chunk. Perhaps alternative of chunk. Oh, no, chuck, which is a short piece of wood. Second form of chunk is a verb from 1890, starting with intransitive, to make a dull, plunging, or explosive sound, as in the rhythmic chunking of thrown quoits. That's a quote from John Updike. The rhythmic chunking of thrown quoits. Quoits is a word I have not seen before. It is Q-U-O-I-T-S. John Updike probably read the dictionary to learn all of these words. Transitive says to miss-hit by striking the ground behind the ball. And that is the example of that is a golf ball or a shot. Yes, if you don't hit the golf ball, but you hit the ground, you chunked it. Because you're hitting a chunk of the ground out of the ground. There's a chunk of dirt and grass. All right, next we have chunky, adjective from 1733. Most things you want to not be chunky. 1A, heavy, solid, and thick or bulky, as in a chunky sweater. Also as in chunky bracelets. I take off all my chunky bracelets before I record so I don't make sound. No, but I have had to tell people to take off their bracelets. Where were we? Chunky. And then especially the synonym stocky, as in an athlete with a chunky build. 1B, synonyms are plump and chubby. 2, filled with chunks, as in chunky peanut butter. What are you? Are you a chunky peanut butter person, or are you a creamy peanut butter person? This will divide families over which kind of peanut butter needs to be bought. Personally, shall I tell you my opinion? I will tell you my opinion. I buy the creamy stuff, but honestly, you put either one of them in front of me and I'm going to eat it. I really don't care. But yes, I do prefer the creamy. I don't know why. Maybe it just seems a little odd to still have chunks of peanuts in the peanut butter. I don't know. But yeah, really, peanut butter, fine. It's totally good. You just give it to me. Chunky or no chunky. Chunkily is an adverb. Next we have, would this be a good, what's, no, we'll skip that. All right. Next is the word chunter. C-H-U-N-T-E-R, chunter. This is an intransitive verb from 1599. It is British, and it means to talk in a low, inarticulate way. And then the synonym is mutter. I would also say another synonym would be probably mumble. I'm talking in a low, articulate way. I'm still a little chunter here. Can't really understand what I'm saying. It's a muttering and mumbling. Chunter. Next we have, you can pronounce this so many ways. You can also spell it so many ways. Let's see. You could say kupa. You could say chupa. You could probably say, some people probably say chupa. I don't know, chuppah. I think chuppah is good. Is there a line under the K? I think there is. Maybe I should go look in the pronunciation to see what that says. Meh, that's fine. You can spell it Chuppah. In that case, you can take off the H at the end, or you can take off the C at the beginning and spell it Huppah. So many ways. Chuppah, noun from 1876. It is a canopy under which the bride and groom stand during a Jewish wedding ceremony. This is from Yiddish and Hebrew. The Yiddish word is spelled Khupe. The Hebrew word is Huppah. There is a line over the A, and I assume, obviously, they pronounce it one of those many ways. I have seen at least a couple of these in person. Been to a couple Jewish weddings. Yeah. All right, next and then, by the way, in addition to this canopy, it's got 4 poles, and then there's the canopy that's across. People often make their own, which I think is cool, but also during the ceremony, or at least a portion of the ceremony, they're supposed to be one person standing at each of the poles, and those are important people to the bride and the groom, to the people who are getting married. It could be friends, parents, siblings, whoever is important. Those are it's kind of like the 4 most important people, and they are, they're there. It's symbolizing like their community, their family, their house, they're all those things. So that is a chuppah. Next is church. Interesting. We went from a Jewish thing to a not as Jewish thing, I guess. This is the first form of church, noun from before the 12th century. 1. A building for public and especially Christian worship. 2. The clergy or officialdom of a religious body. 3 is often capitalized, a body or organization of religious believers, as 3a, the whole body of Christians. Whole would be WHOL, all of the bodies of Christians. 3b, the synonym is denomination, as in the Presbyterian Church. 3c, the synonym is congregation. 4, a public divine worship, as in goes to church every Sunday. 5, the clerical profession, as in considered the church as a possible career. What is the etymology of this? It is from Middle English, church, spelled Chirche, from the Old English, probably pronounced church, spelled Cirice, ultimately from the Lower Greek, kyrikion, something like that, from that's the neutral Greek kyriakos, which means of the Lord, from Kyrios, which means Lord or Master, akin to the Sanskrit word Sura, which means hero or warrior. That is that. Second form of church is an adjective from before the 12th century, one of or relating to a church, as in church government. Church government. Aren't they supposed to be separate? Number 2 is chiefly British, of or relating to the established church. And the third form of church is a transitive verb from the 14th century, to bring to church, to receive one of its rites. By the way, we're going to have a lot of church words. They're going to go into the next episode. Next is churched. Oh, I have been churched. Has an ed at the end. Adjective from the 14th century, affiliated with a church. Next is church father. 2 words. Noun from 1842, and it is the number 4 definition for the word father. It's the church father. Next is church goer. 1 word, noun from 1687, one who habitually attends church. And church going is an adjective or a noun. Church going next this is a fun word, churchianity. Yeah. This is a word, churchianity. Noun from 1837. a usually excessive or narrowly sectarian attachment to the practices and interests of a particular church. And then, this is church plus ianity, as in Christianity. Interesting word. Next is churching. Noun from the 15th century. Let's go churching, let's go churching. If we're a church goer, we're churching. The administration or reception of a rite of the church, specifically a ceremony in some churches by which women after childbirth are received in the church with prayers, blessings, and thanksgiving. Thank you, women who make people. Next is church key, 2 words, noun from circa 1953, an implement with a triangular pointed head at one end for piercing the tops of cans, and often with a rounded head at the other end for opening bottles. Why is it called a church key? Now, I believe that beers, back in the day, they didn't have the pop top. You would use this triangular pointed thing that you'd poke a hole in it so you could drink your beer or your pop or whatever it was. It's just a can of any kind of can, but I don't understand why it's called a church key. I think that's interesting. Okay, next we have churchless, adjective from 1641, not affiliated with a church. You want to be affiliated, but you have no church, so you are churchless. Next is churchly. This word church sounds so weird. See, it's an adjective from before the 12th century, one of or relating to a church, as in churchly authority. 2, suitable to or suggestive of a church, as in a churchly setting, a churchly setting. 3, adhering to a church, as in a churchly community. And then number 4, it's the number 1 definition for the word churchy. When are we going to get to churchy? That's in the next episode. Churchliness is a noun. And no etymology. Next is churchman. Are we going to see churchwoman? Sure. Yes, we are. Good. Churchman. Noun from the 14th century. Number 1, synonym is clergyman or clergyman. 2, a member of a church. And the last word in this episode is churchmanship. Churchmanship. All one word. You got a church, you got a man, and you got a ship. It's a man in a church in a ship. Noun from circa 1680, the attitude, belief, or practice of a churchman. So the words today were chunk, chunky, chunter, that is muttering, chuppah, church, churched, church father, church goer, churchianity, churching, church key, churchless, churchly, churchman, and churchmanship, or churchman. I just think it's funny. It's funny to add things to the end of a word that doesn't seem like they go together, like churching and churched. I just think those words are kind of funny. But let's see. I think I will pick chunter as the word of the episode. I think it's an interesting word. It's basically muttering or mumbling, to talk in a low, articulate way. My song's gonna be about chuntering, gonna sing and chuntering, and I get very quiet when I sing about chuntering. All right, let us talk about the holidays today. On July 5th, in Venezuela, it is sign of Declaration of Independence Day. In the Czech Republic, it is Saints Cyril and Methodius. Methodius? International Longshore and Warehouse Union, it's Bloody Thursday. I don't know what that is. I could click on the link. You can go look it up too. In Armenia, it is Constitution Day. In Algeria, wow, a lot of Independence Day. Algeria, Cape Verde, and Venezuela all have Independence Day. And in the Isle of Man, it is Tynwald Day, it's spelled Tyn. And then, are there any fun holidays for today? Yes, of course there are. It is National Workaholics Day, because everybody had the day off here in the States, and now everybody's got to go work. They're like, oh, I didn't get to work yesterday. I'm such a workaholic. I had the day off. I couldn't work. but now I'm going to do extra work. It is also National Bikini Day, so you are required to go to work and wear a bikini no matter what you are, you have to wear a bikini at work today. Yep, those are all the words. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds, and all of you other word birds and word turds. Welcome to the dictionary. This is Spencer. I am going to read some words to you. The first word is, well, it's 2 words. Church mode. 2 words, noun, from circa 1864. One of 8 scales prevalent in medieval music, each utilizing a different pattern of intervals and beginning on a different tone. Now, would these be the typical scales modes that we're aware of? There's major and minor and mixolydian and aeolian and other ones. Are those all considered church modes? Or did the medieval music have different modes? I am going to have to look into this because I find that interesting and confusing. Okay, next is Church of England. 3 words, the C and the E in Church and England are capitalized. This is from 1534, the established Episcopal Church of England. Next is Church Register. 2 words, noun, from 1606, a parish register of baptisms, marriages, and deaths. You gotta register all the things, all the goings-on in the church community. Next is church school. 2 words, noun, from 1862. 1, a school providing a general education but supported by a particular church, in contrast to a public school or a non-denominational private school. 2, an organization of officers, teachers, and pupils for purposes of moral and religious education under the supervision of a local church. I know a lot of people who went to Catholic church. I think that's probably the most common type of church school, although I'm sure that there are other kinds. They were taught by nuns, and they would sometimes get the ruler. Maybe not as much these days, but probably still a little bit. And they had to learn about general education plus religious stuff. So, if you want to do that, that's cool. Next is Church Slavonic. 2 words, first letters are both capitalized. Did I say first letters? First words? I don't know. Noun, from 1853. Any of several Slavic literary and liturgical languages that continue Old Church Slavonic, but vary regionally under influence and vernacular languages, called also Church Slavic, Slavonic, or Slavic. Next is church warden. 1 word, noun, from the 15th century. 1 of 2 lay parish officers in Anglican churches with responsibility especially for parish property and alms. 2, a long-stemmed clay pipe. I was not aware of that. I was not prepared for that change. So why is this clay pipe called a church warden? Did the church wardens often smoke a clay pipe? What's going on here? Next is church woman. In the last episode, we had churchman or churchman. Now we got church woman, noun, from 1681. A woman who is a member of a church. And we can call them church people. Next is churchy. Adjective, from 1843. 1, marked by strict conformity or zealous adherence to the forms or beliefs of a church. 2, of or suggestive of a church or church services. I feel like between this one and the last one, church woman, I gotta mention church. Oh boy, is it church lady? I think it was Church Lady from Saturday Night Live, played by Dana Carvey. Well, isn't that special? And then, of course, she does a great face, which I can't reproduce on a podcast because you can't see it. But, I had so many laughs at Church Lady. Okay, where were we? Churl, noun, from before the 12th century. 1, the synonym is, I think it was also pronounced churl or chorl, but it is spelled Ceorl. Number 2, a medieval peasant. 3, the synonyms are rustic and countryman. 4a, a rude, ill-bred person. Ill-bred, that makes me think that they were, well, we won't get into that. 4b, a stingy, morose person. Churl could be so many different things. So, you gotta figure out the context. Let's see, this is from Old English, chorl. That's the one that's spelled C-E-O-R-L. That means man, or chorl. Chorl means chorl. Akin to the Old Norse Karl, K-A-R-L, which means man or husband. I think we had a similar etymology when we read that word. Next is churlish, adjective from before the 12th century. So I would think that somebody, if they're churlish, they're being like a medieval peasant, they're being rustic, they're being a rude, ill-bred person, they're being stingy or morose. Let's actually read it. Number 1, of, resembling or characteristic of a churl. And then the synonym is vulgar. 2, marked by a lack of civility or graciousness. Synonym is surly. These are very subjective. Number 3, difficult to work with or deal with. Synonym is intractable, as in churlish soil. Churlish soil, that's hard to say. And then another synonym is the word boorish, B-O-O-R. I think we saw that in 1 or 2 episodes ago. Boor. Churlishly is an adverb, and churlishness is a noun. Okay, next we have churn. First form noun from before the 12th century. Yes, people have been churning things for a long time. A vessel for making butter in which milk or cream is agitated in order to separate the oily globules from the watery medium. I just love that they use the word agitated. The milk or the cream is being so agitated. Can you stop the what are they can you stop churning me? It's really agitating. This is from Middle English, churn with a Y, from Old English also with a Y but no H, akin to the Old Norse, how do you say this word? Kajarni? And that means to churn. That was with a KJ at the beginning, kajarni. So yeah, the thing that you put the stuff in is called a churn. I think we've seen pictures and video of people doing this. Usually we think of the Amish, but lots of people have been doing it. How else are they going to make milk or cream without machines and factories? You got to do it by hand. So then the next word is the second form of churn. This is the verb form. This is the thing that they do. This is from the 15th century, which is interesting because the other one was from the 12th century or before. Is it just transitive? I think nope, it's also intransitive. So starting with transitive, 1, to agitate in a churn in order to make butter. And of course, the examples are milk and cream. That's what you're agitating. Number 2a, to stir or agitate violently, as in an old stern wheeler churning the muddy river. By the way, has anybody ever put like a GoPro inside of one of these to see what's actually happening? I think we need to do that. If I find an example of that, I will share that. But man, what is happening inside there? Lots of agitation. 2b, to make as foam by so doing. So that would be the stirring or the agitating violently. You're making foam or some other thing like that. Number 3, to make excessively active by frequent purchases and sales, primarily in order to generate commissions. And the example of what you are making is the account of a client. You're churning, I guess if you're like, I'm churning it out, I'm doing this fast and I'm doing that fast, you're churning them out. Now we have intransitive definitions. 1, to work a churn. 2a, to produce, proceed with, or experience violent motion or agitation, as in, her stomach was churning. Also as in, churning legs. How can your legs be churning? Number 2b, to proceed by or as if by means of rotating members, as in, the examples of members are wheels and propellers. Why are they called, rotating members? I guess they're called rotating members. Weird. As in, the example, boats churning across the harbor. Next is churn out, 2 words. This is a transitive verb from 1876, to produce mechanically or copiously. The synonym is grind out, as in the usual pap which has churned out, no, the usual pap which has been churned out about this superstar. That is a quote from W.S. Murphy. Now, what is the usual pap? When was this quote made? I think it's old. The usual pap which has been churned out about this superstar. So there's some superstar and lots of pap was created about that superstar. Okay, our last word, it is, I think you'd just say chur or chair, probably chur, churr. This is an intransitive verb from 1555, to make a vibrant or whirring noise like that made by some insects or some birds. And the example of the insect is a cockchafer, which we just mentioned 1 or 2 episodes ago. I can't remember where. And then the example of the bird would be the partridge. Oh, we had partridge recently too. Can I find this? No, I can't take time to look for that. Interesting. So they make sounds, and you can say, oh, they're churring. Churring, churring. And then chur is also a noun. That would be the thing that they are doing. So the words today were church mode, Church of England, church register, church school, church Slavonic, church warden, church woman, churchy, churchyard, churl, churlish, churn, churn out, and churr. Well, I think I shall just pick churn as the word of the episode because it has so many different definitions. Not so many, it has a few, but it can be different things. Churn, churn, we're spinning and churning. The wheels are churning and it makes my stomach churn. Yep, that was perfectly something. Okay, so the holidays for today, July 6th, National Fried Chicken Day in the U.S. In the Czech Republic, it is Jan Hus Day. It's also National Fried Chicken Day in Canada. Maybe I can find a place that has some vegan fried chicken, because I would like that. In Lithuania, it is Statehood Day. In Finland, it is Celebration of Poetry and Summer, also birthday of the poet Aino Leino. I don't know how to say that person's name. Aino Leino? Ino Lino? Aino Laino? Somebody please tell me. In Belarus, it is Kupal? It's the first day of that. In Spain, it is Saint Fermin. In Peru, it is Teacher's Day. What else? In the Cayman Islands, it is Constitution Day. In Kazakhstan, it is Day of the Capital. It is Independence Day in Comoros. Also Independence Day in Malawi. In Poland, Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine, it is Kupala Night. So that's probably similar to that other one I read. It is Statehood Day in Lithuania. It is, it says this is formally, how do you say that word? Informally observed. It is International Kissing Day. But you have to be very informal about it. You can't just go kissing everybody. Or can you? No, you can't. You need consent. I forgot to mention a couple of days ago, we started a fun week. It is Be Nice to Jersey week. I'm assuming that's New Jersey, so go be nice to New Jersey. But you can be mean to it all the other weeks of the year. And then what other things do we have on today? We already read them. It's International Kissing Day and National Fried Chicken Day. If you want, you can kiss your fried chicken. All right, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye to you. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. I just read through the words, and I feel like this has a very wide range of types of words, pronunciations of things. I don't know. It's just a very diverse set of words, which I love. Hey, if you could write me a review, that would be wonderful. Apple Podcasts would be the big one. 5 stars, please. Nothing less. I won't accept anything less. I'll just delete it. No, I don't think I have that power. But I would love a review. Just say, hey, it's good. Hey, it's bad. or you can say more, and maybe I'll read it on an episode. Wouldn't you like that? I would read your username. Everybody wants their stuff read on a podcast. You could also leave me a voicemail, and if it's good, I'll play it on the podcast. People can hear your actual voice, unless you have your own podcast, in which case people can do that there as well. And you can email me, dictionarypod@gmail.com, and you can follow me on social media where I post some silly pictures and I say silly stuff. Although the pictures aren't usually silly. There are lots of cute pictures of dogs and other animals. Okay, the first word is churrigueresque. Churrigueresque. It is spelled churrigueresque. Churrigueresque. It sounds like a ballet move. This is an adjective from 1845 of or relating to a Spanish Baroque architectural style characterized by elaborate surface decoration or its Latin American adaptation. Well, I think I may need to find an example of this and post it on all that social media stuff. So this is from the Spanish churrigueresco, which is from Jose Churriguera. He was a Spanish architect who died in 1725, who I assume created this style. Now I'm really curious to see what this style looks like. Next is, it would be great if this is related, but I'm sure it's not. Although it is Spanish, it is churro. Churro, noun from 1952, a Spanish and Mexican pastry resembling a donut or cruller and made from deep-fried unsweetened dough and sprinkled with sugar. Oh, these are so good. I wouldn't say they resemble a donut because they're usually just sort of cylindrical with ridges. But maybe crullers are more similar. I don't know. These are so good. So good. So good. You got to get them fresh. Hot, and, but they're good either way. Okay, next word is choose, but it is spelled chuse. This is the archaic variation of choose that, the way that we know how to spell it. Next is shoot. Oh, shoot. Chute, or you could spell it with an S at the beginning. This is the first form, noun from 1805. Number 1A, we have the synonym, which is the 6B definition for the word fall. You've fallen, it's a chute. I don't know what that is. 1B, a quick descent, as in a rapid. Oh no, a river, and then the synonym is rapid. So I guess when people are going down the rapids, it's a chute. Number 2, an inclined plane, sloping channel or passage down or through which things may pass. And the synonym is slide. Yeah, sometimes you call it a chute. It's a chute. Why it's a chute, I don't know. Number 3, the synonym is parachute. They don't have time to say parachute. You say open your chute. Number 4, the synonym is spinnaker. Spinnaker. I think you say spinnaker. What does the etymology have to say? It's from Old French, cure, which means to fall, from the Latin cadere, and there's more at the word chance. So we'll find out more about this word shoot. But we can find out more now because we have the second form of shoot, which is a verb starting with transitive. Oh, it's from 1884. To convey by a chute. What are you conveying by a chute? Is it by the slide? Is it by the parachute? Is it by the fall? Is it by the rapids? Is it by the spinnaker? I don't understand that. But let's read intransitive. Number 1, to go in or as if in a chute. Number 2, to utilize a chute, as by passing or down it. So that would be the slide in like in like a mine. They're mining ore, and it's gotta go down, so they create a chute. Sometimes you'll see these when people are doing construction on a roof. They'll basically build a slide. It's a chute, and they throw the things down, so it has more focused way to get into the dumpster or wherever it's going. Okay, enough about chute. Let's talk about shootist. It's a noun from 1920, and the synonym is parachutist. So this is somebody who jumps out of a plane or a helicopter or a cliff or something, and they have a parachute, and they are a shootist. Next is chutney, noun from 1813, a thick sauce of Indian origin that contains fruits, vinegar, sugar, and spices and is used as a condiment. If you have never had this, quick, go to an Indian restaurant and get some chutney. It's good stuff. I think there's different flavors. This is from Hindi and Urdu. The Hindi is spelled Catni. The Urdu is spelled Chatni, and there's some other accents and little symbols, and I assume that they just pronounced it chutney. Haven't had Indian food in a while. I might need to go do that. Next is chutzpah. Chutzpah. You could take off the H at the end. You could take off the C at the beginning. Lots of options, all combinations of that. Chutzpah, you know, noun from 1883, similar to when we had chuppah. Chuppah and chutzpah. Oh, that chuppah has so much chutzpah. What would a chuppah look like if it had a lot of chutzpah? This is from 1883. I think I said that. It is supreme self-confidence, and the synonyms are nerve and gall. Oh, so much nerve, so much gall, so much chutzpah. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't have thought to call it nerve or gall, but, I guess that's a good starting point. And then another synonym is the word temerity. The etymology says this is from Yiddish, also from Lower Hebrew, pronounced, I'm sure, the same. The Yiddish is spelled Khutspe, and the Lower Hebrew is Huspah. Oh, it's such a good word, chutzpah. Next is Kyle, Chyle. It's not the name, Kyle. Noun from 1541, lymph that is milky with emulsified fats characteristically present in the lacteals and most apparent during intestinal absorption of fats. And chylus, with an O-U-S, is an adjective. This is from the Lower Latin chylus, from the Greek chylos, which means juice. What I just read does not sound like juice to me. So that means juice or chyle, akin to the Greek kain, which means to pour, and there's more at the word found. Oh, look, I found some fat juice. Well, of course. That reminds me of in Friends, Joey found a glass of fat, and he drank it. And throughout the episode, he was trying to get people to drink the fat. Glass of fat? All right, next we have chylomicron. Chylomicron. I think that's how you say it. Chylomicron. 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 Noun from 1921. A lipoprotein rich in triglyceride and common in the blood during fat digestion and assimilation. This is from the Greek kylos plus micron, which is the neutral of micros, which means small. And there's more at the word micro. That's a prefix, micro. So it's very small fats, something, lipoprotein. Next is chyme, Chyme, noun from 1607, the semi-fluid mass of partly digested food expelled by the stomach into the duodenum. Semi-fluid mass. Now, part of me wants to pick this as the song, as the word, so I can sing that, but I could do it anyway. The semi-fluid mass of partly digested food expelled by the stomach into the duodenum. This is from the New Latin chymus, or chymus, from the Lower Latin, which means chyle, plus, from the Greek chemos, which means juice, akin to the, it's all the same stuff we read before. I don't know why I read that. Chyme is your partly digested food. Next, I want to make some chyme soon. I'm getting hungry, so I need to make some chyme. Next is chymotrypsin. Chymotrypsin, noun from 1933, a protease that hydrolyzes peptide bonds and is formed in the intestine from chymotrypsinogen. What? Chymotrypsinogen. I think so. And chymotryptic. Chymotryptic is an adjective. Oh, well, here's that word that I was trying to say. Chymotrypsinogen. There, we figured it out. Chymotrypsinogen, noun from 1933, a zymogen that is secreted by the pancreas and is converted by trypsin to chymotrypsin. You got to convert your trypsin into chymotrypsin. Okay, so we finished the CH words. There were a lot of them. Now we are in the CI words. There's probably going to be a lot of those too. As usual, start with some abbreviations. So here we go. CI, just a capital C, abbreviation for 1, cirrus, spelled C-I-R-R-U-S, and number 2, Curie, C-U-R-I-E, like Marie Curie, but it's not capitalized. Next is CI, all caps, abbreviation for 1, cast iron, 2, certificate of insurance, 3, Channel Islands. Next is, this is interesting. It's CIA, CIA, but there's an accent on the I, so I'm thinking this is Spanish, possibly. It's an abbreviation for company, and the etymology says this is. It doesn't say Spanish. It just says S. So what is the S by itself? It's it's south or southern. So CIA is the southern abbreviation. It says compañía, which that would be Spanish, compañía. And then they abbreviated to CIA, which are the first letter and the last 2 letters. So they took out the ompan, and it became CIA, company, compañía, CIA. Okay, next is CIA, all caps, abbreviation for 1, Central Intelligence Agency, and 2, Certified Internal Auditor. Next is CIAA, all caps. We got 2 ways, abbreviation for Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association. Next is, no more abbreviations. It's ciabatta. Ciabatta. There's no CH in the word. It is CIA. B-A-T-T-A, ciabatta. Noun from 1985. 1985? I thought it would be older than that. A flat, oblong bread having a moist interior and a crispy crust. This is Italian, and it literally means slipper. What was the other word was calzone. I feel like the etymology for that was slipper or something like that. Or shoe? Maybe it was shoe. So yeah, I want to put some calzones and ciabattas on my feet. And then I won't eat them. I won't eat things that have been on my feet. Okay, next we have ciao. C-I-A-O. This is another Italian word that, you hear ciao when you're a kid. At least I did. And I had no idea how to spell that. And when I saw how it was actually spelled, I was like, that's not the word ciao. This is an interjection from 1929, and it's used conventionally as an utterance at meeting or parting. So when you say hello or goodbye, you can say ciao. It's like aloha or other ones that I can't think of at the moment. So yes, this is Italian from Italian dialect, which literally means, well, now this is interesting. This is not what I would have expected. It means basically slave, or I am your slave, which is from the Middle Latin sclavus, and there's more at the word slave. So can somebody Italian please explain this to me? Why? Just why? When you greet somebody or you're leaving somebody, you're saying, I am your slave. No. I am not. Okay, we are on the last word. It is ciborium. C-I-B-O-R-I-U-M. Ciborium. It is a noun from 1651. 1. A goblet-shaped vessel for holding Eucharistic bread. And there is a picture of this ciborium. It is super fancy. I'm sure many of you have seen this. There's sort of a plate at the bottom with lots of round areas, which I think that's where the bread would be. But then there's sort of a post in the middle that goes up with a thing that sticks out of that in the middle. But then at the very top, it's like a big globe, sort of, and there's a cross on the top, and it's very fancily decorated. And I think the inside of that holds the bread, and then you take it out of there. It's like a water tower. It's basically a water tower for religious bread. And then you put the water, no, it's not the water. You put the bread in the spaces at the bottom. That is a ciborium. Did you know that that's what that thing was called? Because I didn't. All right, and then we have number 2. The synonym is baldachin. I remember reading that, but I don't remember what it said. But then specifically, we have more information. A freestanding vaulted canopy supported by 4 columns over a high altar. Altar. Okay, those were the words. So we had today churragaresque, churro, choose, shoot, shootist, chutney, chutzpah, kyle, chylomicron, chyme, chymotrypsin, chymotrypsinogen, CIA, CIAA, ciabatta, chow, and ciborium. It's kind of hard to pick one because there was a bunch that I liked. Churro, I liked chow, but I don't like the slave part. I like ciabatta bread, but I think, of course, chutney, but I think I'm going to pick chutzpah as the word of the episode. I don't really like the nerve or the gall. I guess that's technically true, but it's but I guess self-confidence makes sense. You got a lot of chutzpah. I think we all need a little bit more, or not all of us. Some of us could use a little less chutzpah, but some of us could use a little bit more chutzpah. And now I can't say that word anymore. Singing a song about chutzpah? I got so much chutzpah, I got it coming out my ears. That's enough of that. Today, all over the world, please let us celebrate this. It is World Chocolate Day. What else? That's probably all we need. No, it's Independence Day for the Solomon Islands. In Tanzania, it is Saba Saba Day. In Japan, it is Tanabata Day. No, not Tanabata Day. There's no day. It's just Tanabata. So we got Tanabata Saba Saba Day. In Belarus, Poland, Russia, and Ukraine, it is Ivan Kupala Day. And I think the other one said it's the second night of Kupal. And anything else? Let's look at the fun holidays. Today is July 7th. It is Tell the Truth Day. You could do this every day. I give you permission to tell the truth all the time. We need more of that. It's National Strawberry Sundae Day. Sundae Day. And what do you put on a sundae? You put some chocolate. You got to put some hot fudge on there. So yeah, it's World Chocolate Day. Is there anything specific that we want to read about World Chocolate Day? I don't know why it's on today, but it is. So go eat some chocolate. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. How are you today? Yesterday, I forgot to mention that we finished the page 222. So now we are on page 223. We actually, the last line or so of the last definition did go on to 223, so we technically started it yesterday. Okay, so there are some very interesting words in this episode. Ones that I will have a hard time pronouncing, because they are not pronounced how you would think they would be pronounced. Also, I feel like I should have had a couple of experts on this episode, but I did not look ahead to arrange that. But I'll just talk about them, because I'm an expert on everything. So the first word is CIC, all caps, abbreviation for 1, Combat Information Center. If you want some information about the combats, you go there. Number 2, Counterintelligence Corps, and Corps is spelled CORPS. Next is cicada. So I would have been great to have a cicada expert on this one, but that did not happen. We are currently brood, I think they're calling it brood 10. I think previously I said brood X, but it's brood 10. I think it's mostly in the East Coast, I have seen a couple of cicadas here in the Midwest, but we don't have our brood is not coming up, I guess, this year. I thought we were gonna have we were gonna have them big as well, but no. We had a big brood, I think a couple of years ago, maybe. Cicada. I can teach you how to say this backwards. It is Adiakis. I think that's correct. Cicada Adiakis. Let's play that backwards. Cicada. Wasn't that fun? You can pronounce this a few ways. Cicada, cicada, cicada. You can say that, cicada. Look at them cicadas. This is a noun from the 14th century. A lot of people call these locusts. They're not locusts. They're cicadas. Those are different animals. Any of a family of homopterous insects which have a stout body, wide, blunt head, and large transparent wings, and the males of which produce a loud buzzing noise, usually by tridillation. So the family name is Cicadidae. And what else? What else do we have to say? The name comes from the genus name, which is from the Latin cicada, although I think they would have said cicada. These animals are crazy. They live underground for 13 years or 17 years, or I think there's other variations of that. They're basically living out the majority of their life underground, eating the stuff off of the roots of trees. That's what they do. They just hang out there and eat and grow for a very, very long time, and that's the majority of their life. And then when they're, adult enough, they're grown enough, and the temperature hits a very specific temperature, they emerge. They come out of the ground from around a tree, and they walk around. Their goal is to find the highest place possible. They want to get up there in the trees, and so they just find a thing and they start climbing. It could be a wall, it could be a tree, it could be something else. They just start climbing, and after I don't know, probably a day or 3 days, they're like, oh, this body, I don't want to be in this body anymore. Let's make a new body. So they emerge from their exoskeleton, and usually they're clamped onto a tree. So go look around your trees, and you might see some of these dead. Well, they're not. It's their exoskeleton. They have emerged from their exoskeleton with a new body. They look different. They've got wings. They didn't have wings before, and I have witnessed this happening on multiple occasions, and it is fascinating. And yeah, they emerge, and then they can fly. They have to let their wings dry, and then they fly, and they have no mouth. When they come out of the exoskeleton, they got no mouth. All they do, their only goal, is to find a mate and make babies, and the cycle can start all over again. That's all they do. They're alive for a few days, a week, or something, and that's it. That is the cicada, and the process starts all over again. But they do provide a lot of food for the animals at that time. They just like dogs will just eat a whole bunch of them. All right, moving on to cicala. It's spelled the same as cicada, but it's an L instead of a D. Cicala, noun from 1794. Oh, interesting. The synonym is cicada. I had no idea. That's interesting. Oh, look at all them cicalas. Next is cicatricial. Cicatricial, adjective from 1881, of or relating to a cicatrix. Or it would be cicatrix. Or yes, cicatrix would be possible too. How do I know this? Because it is the next word. Cicatrix. No, how do I want to say this? Cicatrix. This is an example of one of those where we've got the plural is cicatrices, like matrices and matrix. Cicatrix, cicatrices. What is this word? It is a noun from 1623. 1. A scar resulting from formation and contraction of fibrous tissue in a wound. So the scar is a cicatrix? This must be a very scientific word. Number 2, a mark resembling a scar, especially when caused by the previous attachment of an organ or part, as a leaf. Now, would this be on a human body, an animal body, or is this only on plants? We're going to skip that. Next is cicatrization. Cicatrization. I'm guessing this is related. Noun from the 15th century. Scar formation at the site of a healing wound. At the site of a healing wound. Cicatrize. Cicatrize is a transitive verb. So when the wound is happening, the cicatrization is going on. It is being cicatrized, and then there will be a cicatrix. And if there's more than one cicatrix or cicatrix, it is cicatrices. Next is cicerone, or you could say cicerone. I like cicerone. Noun from 1726. 1. A guide who conducts sightseers. They're called a cicerone? Number 2. The synonyms are mentor and tutor. So if you are mentoring somebody or tutoring somebody, you can call yourself a cicerone. You should tell them that. This is Italian. Don't you know? It's from the word... It's not helpful. It's from their word cicerone with a capital C, which means Cicero with a capital C. Who is Cicero? Maybe Cicero was a mentor or a tutor or a guide. Next is cichlid. Cichlid, yeah, it is spelled Cichlid. Cichlid. Noun from 1884. Any of a family of mostly tropical, spiny-finned, usually freshwater fishes, including several kept in tropical aquariums. Although, would that be aquaria? Cichlid is also an adjective. This is from the Greek kikli, which means thrush, or a kind of wrasse, W-R-A-S-S-E. I'm going to say it's pronounced wrasse or ross. It is perhaps akin to the Greek kalidon, which means swallow. Oh, and the family name is Cichlidae. Cichlidae. Next word is Cicesbano? Cicesbano. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's probably Italian. Yes, it is. C-I-C-I-S-B-E-O. Cicesbeo. Noun from 1718. The synonyms are lover and gallant. Gallant? Gallant? I think I've misdone that before. And Cicesbeism is a noun. I need a little bit more information. This is not terribly helpful. Moving on to CID, abbreviation for cubic inch displacement. So when you put something that is, say, a cube of some kind, well, let's pick a sugar cube. Why not? You put it in a liquid, the amount that it displaces is the cubic inch displacement, CID. It moves it up. When you put your body in the bathtub, you can measure the cubic inch displacement. How high does the water go based on your body? Next is CID, all caps, abbreviation for 1. Civil Investigative Demand, 2. Criminal Investigation Department. We've got a couple suffixes. The first one is CIDAL. I think that would be sidle. Yeah, I think you would pronounce it sidle. It means killing or having power to kill. The example is insecticidal. So this chemical is an insecticidal, and it has the ability to kill insects. So relatedly, this one you see a lot more often, it is side. This is the suffix side, C-I-D-E. Let's see. Number 1, it means killer, as in the example insecticide. And then number 2, it means killing, as in suicide. There are lots of words, many that you probably have never heard, many that I have never heard. Suicide is when you kill yourself, or, homicide. There is fratricide, I think, which is where you kill a brother or a sibling. There are infanticide is when you kill an infant, a baby. These are all terrible things. This is not a subject we should be talking about, but these words exist. Yeah, basically, if you kill something, there's probably a word for it. This is from the Latin suffix sida, which is from the verb caedere, which means to cut or kill. So that is that. Yeah, not a fun subject. Let's move on to a fun subject. It is the word cider. Now, I think I should have had a cicada expert, and I think I also should have had a cider expert. I am not a cider expert, but they are my drink of choice. This is a noun from the 13th century. 1. Fermented apple juice, often made sparkling by carbonation or fermentation in a sealed container. 2. The expressed juice of fruit used as a beverage or for making other products. And the example of this fruit is apples. I think it can be made from other things. Maybe it's not called cider. And then the example of these other products are Applejack. I think that's a drink. What does the etymology have to say? It is from the Middle English, cidre, from the Latin cicera or cicera, which is strong drink. It means strong drink. From the Greek cicera, and then in parentheses it says Septuagint. I don't know if that's a form of Greek, Septuagint. Anyway, the word was cicera, also from the Hebrew shakar. So yeah, maybe the Hebrews have their own type of cider. I want to try all the ciders. Next we have cider vinegar. 2 words, noun from 1851. Vinegar made from fermented cider. This is a very healthy thing that you should consume on occasion, apple cider vinegar. I think we have some in our fridge, possibly. Yeah. Next we have ci devant. Ci devant. This looks French. It is technically 2 words with a hyphen. Ci is the first word, and then devant is the second word. Ci devant, adjective from 1790. The synonym is just the word former. So yes, this is French, and it literally means formerly. Next is another abbreviation. We've had a lot of abbreviations recently. CIE. Oh, interesting. So this is the French abbreviation for company. In the last episode, we had the Spanish one, CIA, and this is, I guess you would just pronounce it C? C? I don't know. Yes, the French word for company is compagnie, Compagnie, and they did the same thing. They took the first letter and the last 2 letters. Okay, another abbreviation, CIF, all caps. Abbreviation for 1, Central Information File. 2, cost, insurance, and freight. Next is CIG, CIG, noun from 1889. It is slang, and the synonym is cigarette. But before we get to cigarette, we have to read cigar, noun from 1730, a small roll of tobacco leaf for smoking. And yes, cigars they have the tobacco inside, but then the container is also a tobacco leaf. Next is cigarette, CIGARETTE, or just ET. Either way is fine. Noun from 1835, a slender roll of cut tobacco enclosed in paper and meant to be smoked. It's meant to be smoked. Also, a similar roll of another substance, and then in parentheses, the example would be as marijuana. You could call it a marijuana cigarette. Sometimes people say that. So this is tobacco usually, but it's not in a tobacco leaf as the container. It's paper of some kind. This is a French word, cigarette. It's a diminutive of cigar with an E, which is cigar, from the Spanish cigarro. Oh, and by the way, the cigar word comes from the Spanish cigarro. These are not good for you. Do I have to say that? I don't think I have to. Smoking cigarettes are really, really bad. I think the more organic ones are better, but it's still not good to smoke stuff. Next is another one, cigarillo or cigarillo, noun from 1832. 1, a very small cigar. It's so tiny. Number 2, a cigarette wrapped in tobacco paper rather than paper. So here we go. The normal cigarettes just have paper, but the cigarillo actually is wrapped in tobacco. So it's probably, this is where they get the very small cigar. It is that, but it's very small. It's skinny and short, like a cigarette, but it's a cigar. This is from the Spanish cigarillo, which means cigarette. It's a diminutive of cigarro, which means cigar. And our last word is ciguatera, or just ciguatera. 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 Noun from 1862. Poisoning caused by the ingestion of various normally edible tropical fish in whose flesh a toxic substance has accumulated. That's a great way to end this episode. The example of this toxic substance is one produced by some dinoflagellates. So this is American Spanish from ciguato, which means person ill with ciguatera. Perhaps from cigua, cigua, which means sea snail. So maybe you can get poisoned by this sea snail. Okay, so the words today were CIC, cicada, cicala, cicatrical, no, that was cicatricial, cicatrix, cicatrization, chicharroni, cichlid, chichisbano, CID, cidal, cider, cider vinegar, ci devon, CIF, cig, cigar, cigarette, cigarillo, and ciguatera. Okay, well, I guess just because I enjoy it and I've got some in the fridge, I'm going to pick cider as the word of the episode. But I do find cicadas fascinating. I should be able to figure out how to say cider backwards pretty easily. Cider. Erdias. Erdias. Cider. All right, sing a song about cider, Spencer. Spencer likes cider, and he's gonna drink some cider. Dee-ba-dee-ba-doo-dee-da. All right, there's not a whole lot of holidays. Oh my God, I really can't speak. I should probably be done for today. Ukraine has Family Day. Let's check this page. Interesting, Ukraine also has Air Force and Air Defenses Forces Day. And are there any fun holidays for July 8th? Yes, National Chocolate with Almonds Day. You are required. Yesterday it was World Chocolate Day. And also, you can eat this chocolate while you're playing video games because it's National Video Game Day. Why is it today? Is there a reason? There's a Cousin Day, National Video Games Day, which is September 12th. Those are, why are they different? Why do there have to be two? I don't get that. One is National Video Game Day. National Video Games Day is the other. I don't get it. All right. I don't think it's saying why it's today. Yeah. All right. We're going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.